Good morning and welcome back to another session of Rumination with Andrew. Thank you so much for joining, and I am very pleased to be with you one more time to discuss a very important topical matter. Now, this morning, I am a little bit perturbed at what I was reading in the Jamaica Gleaner newspaper online. And remember in a previous video, we talked about the fact that the Jamaica Gleaner was reporting through its editorial that there was a crisis in democracy in Jamaica. Now, we are learning from another editorial. I think this is also an editorial. Let me get it. I get my thing up here. It's always going away when I'm online. Let me see if I can get it back here. Yeah, you always have, these challenges when you're online. Before you come online, everything is okay. And as soon as you get online, things get berserk. All right, so let me see if I can pull this article up for you. All right, so let's go. Yes, I have it up now. So let me connect with you. All right, so share my screen. Okay. All right, so we have here, this is coming from the Gleaner, the online edition of the Gleaner, right? And the Gleaner is Jamaica's primary newspaper online. Now, the title is White Clean, Woman Hospitalized After Over 2 million hacked from NCB account credit card. So this is a bank in Jamaica, the National Commercial Bank. The NCB Bank is called the National Commercial Bank, and it's owned by a billionaire called Michael Chin. Now, a marketing manager whose National Commercial Bank NCB account is linked with her mother's says over $2 million was swiped by cyber criminals and a further 122,000 built from her credit card after she read a text message she said she received from the institution. The woman, who asked not to be identified, said the theft left her mother hospitalized after she learned that the money she had saved to cover the cost of a life-altering surgery had been stolen. Now, this is incredible. NCB, one of the country's largest commercial banks, in an emailed response to a Gleaner query, said that it would not divulge information about its customers, but provided tips on how they could avoid being defrauded. Now, this is what I don't understand about Jamaica. And perhaps during the pandemic, the same thing happened. They like to tell you what you should do or you should not do. And they have all these protocols, but nobody knows in any practical sense, if what they're saying is true, right? And it's a way of saying to you that you are the problem, not us. And I remember distinctly during the pandemic, okay, if you don't wear your mask, it means therefore that you're going to give somebody the virus. And they're continuously, they would continuously transfer the responsibility to you, the individual. And nobody would like to say, where did the virus come from? Right? They were mum where that was concerned. But the fact of the matter is that you are the one who continues to spread the pandemic because you didn't wear your mask or you didn't take your vaccine. Really? Really? Is that so? This is how we are playing the game now, right? By transferring the responsibility onto citizens and customers. And this is the tactic that this bank is using at the moment by saying that, oh, we told her what she needed to have done and she didn't do it. So obviously she has to suffer the consequences of her own actions. This is the impression I'm getting from the National Commercial Bank. But listen to what they are saying. We do not provide specific details regarding any customer case in recognition of the importance of confidentiality, the bank said. And if, during the pandemic, if we should understand the number of declassified, not just declassified, but classified documents about the pandemic, right? That they have hidden from us, the facts, that they've hidden from us for us to understand, where this thing came from and, what ingredients might have used. Is it a bioweapon? We don't know. And the same thing about the bank situation right now. We don't know what sort of involvement the bank has in these fraudulent cases, because I've heard so many stories, too many, I should say, coming from Jamaica about the National Commercial Bank and the fact that their monies are just being wiped away without any sort of account, without any sort of, the bank being held to account. It's almost always that when they call customer service, they never respond, or when they respond, they never give any, they give no reassurance that they are working on the case, or if they say they're working on the case, it's never resolved. The case is never resolved. That is what many people are saying, right? Last week, the woman told the Gleaner that she received a text message with the subject NCB on November 1. She said the message indicated that a hold had been placed on her account. It further instructed her to quickly review her transactions at the website here to restore access to her card. Now listen to what she continues to say. The woman said that she did not click on the link. She said on November 6th, she accessed the joint accounts to do a business transaction for her mother and was shocked to see that it had been wiped clean. She told the Gleaner that over 2014 thousand is a million, right? So it's over $2 million had been taken from her mother's account, right? And 93,000 had been removed from her account. So we have over $2 million had been taken from her mother's account, and 93,000 had been removed from her account. Right now, they're putting my name to shame at Credit Bureau when it's something that happened to me. It has been really horrible. My name bad at Credit Bureau, so I want a loan in the future. NCB has damaged my credit, the woman said. Now, this is something that the government needs to take into its hands. What is happening at the National Commercial Bank? There are just too many citizens of Jamaica who have been complaining about losing their monies. And I think it's daily that I'm hearing these stories. So this is not an exception. This is the rule. This is what is happening on a daily occurrence, right? And the government seems to be mum. And if you speak to them, I'm sure they're going to give you the same answers that this bank employee, employer, I'm sure, employee is giving, right? We have to be very careful. We have to begin to assess what is going on in our financial institutions. And I think, this is my belief now, that there seems to be some laws behind the scene, because Jamaica is not a regulated country. Its economy is not, it has embraced this deregularization sort of, economic theory where anything goes, right? This is this free market economy that we're in, right? And with that sort of ideology and with that sort of economic, theoretical framework, anything can go, anything can happen, including criminals can gain access to people's account, right? Because we have to have agencies that regulate the economy, right? And we have been functioning under that sort of economic framework for decades. And now I think the chickens are coming home to roost. And we're seeing where that it seems to me clearly that this is coming from the top. This cannot only be coming from the lumpen proletariat, as we would call them, from people who of the lower strata of society. It's coming from the top. The top is also engaged in these acts of fraud, right? And it's time for us to speak the truth. People are losing their monies. The government cannot help them. So they need to create proper laws, effective laws, in which, we can minimize on these occurrences. This is too frequent, and this is not as I'm saying, an exception. This is the rule. Now, we don't want to get more into the, but I came across this article and I was perturbed, right? And also very irate to know that we are functioning in a society in which, our governments don't have laws that protect its citizens. They don't protect our physical lives because Jamaica is known to be one of the most murderous countries in the world, and even our finances. People's monies are in the bank. And this is one of the legitimate banks that we have in Jamaica. So this is not like, this is a small bank, right? This is a big bank, a well-known bank that should be properly regulated. But it is not, based on what is happening, based on what we're seeing here. It's not. Something is amiss here. This is what in September, the Gleaner reported that a teacher was left devastated after Fishers emptied her savings of $1.8 million and took out a $1.6 million loan on her NCB account. And this is happening also at the NCB. But NCB said that the majority of fraud losses occur when victims click on links or share their confidential and private information online or over the telephone. Now, how can they avoid that? Right? And how can NCB prevent hackers from hacking into the system so that if NCB is purportedly sending a message to their clients and they click on it, because that's what is natural, what people do that, right? If the bank is sending information, they might want to click to see what the bank is saying. So should they not have online banking account because of the hacking, the frequent hacking of this bank? Should they suspend online banking and just go over to back to, having cash? I don't know, but something is not right. Something smells foul. And I think that we've got to dig deeper into this matter. Now, to safeguard our customers, NCB has long implemented a strict no-link policy. NCB will never send a customer link via email or SMS related to their account. Furthermore, we will never call and request confidential information such as your username and password, PIN, bank account, or card number, or token ID. Well, so much to say, and that's understood. However, people are saying also that when they go to the ATM machine of this same bank, right, and they decide to take money, and that should be from a legitimate ATM machine, having extracted their money from the bank, right? A lot of times they've also seen where funds have been extracted after they've left, even when everything was done and their cards were, properly received and, and protected and safeguarded, right? So there are lots of different things happening there in NCB. And we know that internally also at the higher level, we've had lots of conflicts at the executive level. What is happening at NCB Bank? The customers, well, the customers, I'm not a customer, but the customers need to know what is happening at NCB Bank. And, the Gleaner and the Jamaica Observer need to also investigate more. Or do we have new laws which allow these criminal activities to take place? Because at this juncture, let's be frank here, we cannot trust the government. We cannot trust the government at this juncture of our history, because we understand in many cases that the government is tied up with the financial interests of the PSOJ and these Jamaica elites and global elites, right? So it's very important that, the government, because we, the people, have given you a mandate that you do, and we pay you The citizens of Jamaica pay you their money to do the job of that office, but you're not doing a good job. You're not protecting the physical lives of the people, neither are you also safeguarding their monies or creating laws, effective laws, that will safeguard their savings, their monies in the banks. We call on the government of Jamaica to intervene and to stop the nonsense and to stop also in your involvement, if there is an involvement, in these acts of fraud. Thank you very much for joining. I look forward to seeing you in another chat.